Welcome to Machine Learning, Discriminant Analysis Part 5, Linear Discriminant Analysis. Okay, so last time we looked at several groups, and we looked at logistic regression, but suppose again we have two groups, A and B, and you have random variables X and Y. So last time we just had one X, now we're in two dimension, and this is going to add some complexity, and I'm going to try to show it to you in pictures. And just so that you can understand what's going on, just like we looked at pictures before, hopefully this will make sense. And then you can ask me, well, Ed, can't we just use logistic regression to do this? Yeah, you can. But we want to look at a more likelihood-oriented way to do this. Okay, so I'm going to show you the basic steps. I'm not going to show you all the steps because the computer can do it. All right, so here's a picture. We've got orange dots are group A, the blue dots are group B, and it's clear that a single value will not separate this. Okay, if I just put a single number there, it's not going to separate the two groups. But you can see that the two groups don't overlay each other exactly. So we're going to need a line to discriminate between them. We can get a line that says if we're bigger than this line, then we're in the orange group, and if we're less than this line, then we're in the blue group. Okay, so what we can do is we can find an estimated density for each group. Okay, so this is using what's called a kernel density estimate, and we'll talk about those more later in the course. But right now, this is like putting a density over what we had before, and you would just look to see which one's higher at which point. And that's essentially what we're going to do. Here it is without all the points on it. So you can kind of see in this area here, they're about equally likely. Remember, as the contours get smaller into the center, that means it's a higher value. So if we were to look here, you can count the contours in and kind of get a sense that if we come up with a dividing line, it probably should go in this direction. Should be orthogonal to the centers of these. Okay, and if we do that, that's essentially what happens. So this black line goes from the center of the blue to the center of the orange. And then you find a line that's orthogonal to it that splits the two in half. Now, how you choose exactly where to put that orthogonal line, I'm not going to talk about too much because it gets a little more complicated because you have to pay attention to variances and whatnot. But this is the general thought is, hey, this is the direction between the two means, so whatever line's going to divide them should be orthogonal to it. And you can actually show that it is a line if they're normally distributed. But we're not going to worry about that right now. All right, so here's everything put back on top of each other. So you can see the orthogonal line, and we can see the line that goes between the means. Okay, so you can see that that green line kind of separates the two groups. Not extremely well, but it's better than nothing at this point. Okay, so what if we have three groups, A, B, and C? So I took the two groups we had before, and I threw another one in here. This is a red group that we're going to call Class C. Now we're going to need to find more lines because we have three different densities for each. And we're going to need to go between the centers of them. So there's going to be three lines, A to B, A to C, B to C. So I've got three lines that I have to worry about. And once I find that, then I can find the lines or the slope of the lines that are orthogonal to it. Now, for the A to B, it's going to be the same as last time, but we're going to have to do something else to find the other two. Okay, so this is what the ultimate picture looks like here. So you have to pay attention to which goes where. So if I picked a point here, if I'm above this and less than this, then I'm yellow. If I'm less than this line and still less than this line, then I'm blue. If I'm less than this line and I'm in this region, this line doesn't matter anymore. Okay, so you really have to pay attention to which lines matter, but basically this is going to chop it up into a region for us. And fortunately, Python will do this for us, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump over to Python and say, hey, do this for me. And you will notice that the code is extremely short. And also, I'm going to use way more than three predictors. Here I did two, so you can see it in an XY plane. But we're going to use way more than that in this example. So let's jump over there. All right, let's make sure we're in the right working directory. because if you're not, you won't find the data. Okay, and I'm going to explain the data a little bit. Okay, so the thing we're going to have to do is I'm going to bring in NumPy, SciPy, and the plotting just in case you wanted to do any work with it. But in sklearn or scikit-learn, there is discriminant analysis, and I'm going to import linear discriminant analysis, which is LDA, which is what we've been talking about. We're going to bring in model selection, train, test, split, because that's how we're going to evaluate whether this did any good or not, is using a holdout sample. And here, I'm also going to pull the confusion matrix because these are categories, right? These aren't linear like having an R squared or something like that to measure the value of the model. This is going to use the confusion matrix. So let's give this a run, read in the data, and then I can show it to you. So we've read in the data. I call it data 0, but this data has to do with a Wisconsin breast cancer diagnosis. Okay, so the first one is the ID of the patient. The diagnosis is either malignant or benign. Okay, and then you can read a whole bunch of these things and see what the variables are. So, like, what's the mean radius? What is the texture mean? I don't know how they measure it. What is the area mean? What's the perimeter mean? They have a whole bunch of stuff here that you can see. All of these, smoothness, I don't know how smoothness and texture are related, but these are all related to each other in some measurement way, and we don't have to worry about how you do it. But we want to say, okay, these are the X values I have. I want to know if I can predict between malignant and benign. Okay, so that's our goal here. Is our outcome is malignant and benign. So what I'm doing is I am making a new variable here, M and B, and actually you don't have to do this. I'm just doing it because we're encoding what we want. If we were to use the automatic encoder that Python's going to do, it's actually going to flip these. It's going to say benign is going to be 1 and M would be 0 because it goes alphabetically. And I want to have control over that, so I'm not going to do it. So this is just going to add another column onto the data set, and it is changing the data set by adding another column. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to now make my data set. So diag here is 0 or 1, and that's going to be my outcome. That's why I called it Y0. Here, X0 is a data where I just pulled the rest of the columns. Okay, I pulled the rest of the columns that I need. I don't want to make a list of all of them, but this will get me the rest of the columns. And so I'll do that now. Okay, so now I'm going to split it. We did train test split before. X0 is my predictors, Y0 is my outcome. I'm going to take a test size of 30%, and I picked random state 28 because today is the 28th of the month. No real reason or rhyme to it. Okay, so once I do that, that's going to break up the data for me that then I can use it to see how well it works. Okay, now here's where we actually come and do the LDA, linear discriminant analysis. LDA underscore classifier is equal to linear discriminant analysis, open parentheses, close parentheses. This is initializing this so that we can start working with this object. Okay, then we're going to have LDA underscore classifier dot fit, and we're going to train it on X underscore train and Y underscore train. Okay, so this is the training data set. Y underscore pred is going to be the LDA classifier predict against the test set. And then I'm going to look at the actual values from the Y test set, and I'm going to see how well we predicted it using the X test set. So let's give this a go, and we can see how well we did. And you can see here, I have in my confusion matrix, for those that are a 0, and I predicted 0, I got 110 of them right. So if you're benign, and I said you were benign, 110 times I got that right. And If you were benign, 2 times I said you were malignant. Okay, that one is worrisome, but hopefully with follow-up testing, you would see that it's not so bad to have 2 people who don't have malignant cancer be told they do, and then you do follow-up testing and it shows they don't. Now, this is the one to worry about. You've told somebody, well, we know they have malignant cancer, and you've told them that it's benign. So this would not be good. But those who have malignant cancer and you told them they had malignant cancer is 53. So overall, this has a pretty high accuracy rate. The specificity and sensitivity, I'll let you calculate on your own, but this is basically how you would work with linear discriminant analysis. Okay, so what if we don't want lines to separate? What if we want some curves? So the next video, we're going to talk about what's called quadratic discriminant analysis among our many discriminant analysis approaches here. All right, and I will see you there.